Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Derek Branch here of Saint Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. And on episode 12 of the Saint Discussions Show podcast, we're going to talk about some New Orleans Saints news and some the recent remarks. I'm just going to share my two cents on the recent remarks put out by Saints quarterback, former Saints quarterback, future first ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, Drew Brees, in regards to him not being healthy for the majority of his last season in New Orleans. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the comments made by Sean Payton about the team needs to the NFL draft and things he hoped to accomplish during the draft and going into the in the offseason now, but going into training camp. But I'm just going to share, been a little busy lately with, the site, and this is not this is a portion of the site is dedicated to the Saints, the category as a category that's strictly dedicated to the Saints content, Saints news, apparel, and all that. The site is not all about the Saints. At the moment, it's not all about the Saints, but it could go that route in the future. Well, we just have to see how things go. We're test things out, and I've been busy with certain other topics such as the NBA, tracking down things that have been going on with the NBA, the NFL, as a whole. I cover that as well. Pretty much we're focusing on those two leagues right now. The NBA got the playoffs heating up, and the Pelicans, doing things, and going back and forth, Kevin Durant stories, all that. It's been real busy lately, but the Saints, they've been quiet, as of lately, and there's been really no news as of lately going on except the draft coverage, and I'm just trying not to be the dead horse with the draft. I know a lot of people are tired of it, of the draft content, the draft, coverage and all that. I understand that, but I'm going to get my mock draft out of the way first. So I'm release my first and only NFL mock draft. It won't be a Saints one, it'll be an NFL mock. Last year I did a Saints mock draft. This year I'll be doing the NFL mock draft. And next, God say the same. I'll be next 2022. It'll be a Saints back to being a Saints mock draft. But on Monday, the Strike 7 Sports 2021 NFL mock draft will be released, and that'll be picks 1 through 10. That'll be just in the top 10 picks in the draft, and that's it. But I just want to get it out of the way. I just want to share what I've been doing. I've been I've kind of slowed down just a little bit on the Saints content, but I'm gonna get started things back up once the draft gets underway. I'll probably be doing a reaction video like I did last year for the draft. When they announce the pick at 28, I'll probably, make a video showing my response to it and all that. But, I can't wait till this Thursday. But anyway, man, let's get into some content. And we're going to start off with, I got this article pulled up, and it talks about Drew Brees and his final season in New Orleans and how he was not, 100% for the majority of last season. And it was an article from CBSSports.com. The title of it is Drew Brees breaks down his struggles in his final season. I only really felt good in one game. Drew Brees wanted to retire champion, hoping to earn a second Super Bowl ring with the New Orleans Saints before riding into the sunset. Once Brees realized that wasn't a possibility, he decided to hang up his cleats despite his pursuit of another title. Leaving football wasn't easy for Brees, but the future Hall of Fame quarterback knew it was the right decision, given his struggles during the 2021 season. I only really felt good in one game from the perspective of I had all the tools in my toolbox, Brees said at the TPC Louisiana via the Saints website. I had a lot of limitations throughout the season as to what I could and couldn't do, and I recognized that, and that's really hard for a competitor. That's really hard where you know that you should be able to do, and yet you can because of various injuries or things that are taking place with your body. Well, Brees' wife Brittany revealed in an Instagram post via WWL's Andrew Doak all the injuries her husband suffered in 2020. According to Brittany Brees, Drew Brees had a torn rotator cuff, torn fascia, torn fascia, a collapsed lung, and 11 broken ribs. Brees still completed 70.5% of his passes, his lowest since 2016 for 2,942 yards, lowest in the full season since 2003, 24 touchdowns, lowest since 2017. The Saints still won at 9-3 in Brees' 12 starts and won the NFC South, the 7th division title under Drew Brees. The game Brees felt good during was a weak full win over the Detroit Lions, in which he completed 76% of his passes and threw for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns, as the Saints scored 35 points, the season high, to the Alvin Kamara 6 touchdown game on Christmas. While Brees' play was on the decline, the multitude of injuries was the reason why. Brees had no excuses. He just wanted to find ways to perform well and help his team win football games. Some of those things are just kind of freak things. Plantar fascia, you get damage in your shoulder, you get the broken ribs, the punctured lung. Brees said, you get all this stuff that's going on. It's that abdominal thing that I was dealing with for pretty much most of the season. That as a quarterback, everything you do is a rotation, and you can't rotate that the way that you want. You all of a sudden begin to accommodate in ways, and everything for you kind of narrows, because it's like, I know I can't make that throw. I can't make that throw. I can't make that throw. So what's not in my toolbox? And it's harder to get to play the game that way, and yet you got to find ways to still get it done. And I felt like we did that, but it was difficult. Quote, end quote. Alright, so let me get some water real quick. Alright, so here's my take on that, man. So Brees saying that he was only healthy for one game. So that pretty much proved what I was saying in my takeaway article I wrote about takeaways from Saints 2020 season. And it was that Drew Brees was not Drew Brees for a majority of the season. And you could clearly see that without your home shades being on. He was not the same guy that we've seen in the previous seasons. He wasn't even the same guy we saw last year when he came back from that the thumb injury. He just wasn't. He wasn't the same type of quarterback. And you can see that in the majority of the games we saw last season. The best, and I know it was, pretty much accurate with this take, but the best games we saw to Drew Brees was the Tampa game and the Detroit game. Everything else was suspect. The last 2 games we saw the Drew Brees, that we saw old school Drew Brees, that type of quarterback was the Tampa Bay game, the second game versus Tampa Bay, and the Detroit game. Everything else was just a wash, man. It was just bad games, management. I'm not going to say management. He was just managing the game from that point. Bad defense showed up for it. But I've been hearing a lot of fans online and message boards and Saints social media groups on Facebook, Twitter, kind of being a little disappointed in this. And Drew Brees saying that of him being hurt for the majority of the season. They want to know, they're upset that he tried to play during those games. A lot of people prefer that they were seeing Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston out there playing for those snaps when Brees was out. Taysom Hill got the start. Drew Brees came back after. And he clearly wasn't himself after that, but he got the job anyway. I think the Carolina the Carolina game was pretty. It was a good performance by Brees as well, but fans, a lot of people would have preferred to see James Taysom out there and the Saints set Drew Brees, for the entire season, but it didn't work out that way. Guy was going his last, time. This was his last run at Super Bowl, and he wanted to give it his all, figure out ways to win, despite not having his everything intact as far as his health is concerned. And they did, the Saints did pretty good without it, without the Drew Brees we saw with the defense, And my thing is this though: are we even saying this if Jared Cook fumbles the football? Are we saying this are we still saying this stuff if the Saints would have drove down there and put up another touchdown on Tampa Bay or a field goal? That was just that Jared Cook fumble was a game killer, man, for the Saints, a momentum driver, killed it. All Drew Brees had to do at the time, man, even if he wasn't healthy, he was just manage the game. From that point, it was just about managing the games. He was a game manager for the majority of the year. The defense was good enough to make stops. It wasn't like 2015 and 2016 seasons, where we had Drew Brees out there throwing 30 and 40 times, 4 and 5 touchdown passes, 400 yards a game, and giving up 30 points a game. In the meantime, it's not that type of team anymore. All Drew Brees had to do was manage the game from that point, and the game, if they went to Green Bay, that was a winnable game because the weather was even a factor, They could have probably beat Green Bay, and the way things turned out with Kansas City with their offensive line, they probably would have did the same thing that Tampa did to Kansas City and won the Super Bowl. We're not even, and the reality is that we're not even having these type of discussions about if he should have been playing or not. Because if he would have came out with this statement, he probably still would have said this, but we wouldn't have cared though. Nobody wouldn't have cared about if he was hurt or not because it all boiled down to him managing the game, despite his injuries. He still, it happens, man. It happens, and sometimes you can't go out the way you want to go out. And unfortunately for Drew Brees, that happened. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate what happened to him, but he's still a winner in my book. He led the Saints to their first ever championship, helped put the team on the map as a recognized brand, a national, team that's known worldwide, and it's because of him, because of Drew Brees and Sean Payton. They changed a lot of things about this team. The culture of it it's a different one from years from when I watched the team with Mike Ditka and Jim Haslett. For the most part, the Jim Haslett era was just about underachieved. Just underachieved for the most part. But despite that, man, I'm not really upset about him making a statement. It is what it is now. It's what's done is done. It is in the past. Let's get on with the new era. Drew Brees retired. Is it the right thing to do? And we'll see who wins this job going to the training camp. It is what it is. We're going to take a quick break and read some pay some bills, and we'll be right back. Support the great work of the Strike 7 Sports Saints discussion section by purchasing licensed Saints NFL fan gear. Items range from Saints hats, jerseys, t-shirts, socks, and so much more. We would greatly appreciate it if you would purchase these items from the link listed. The revenue generated from today's offer goes into the funding of the Strike 7 Sports platform. Click on the link strike7sports.com/Saints Fanatics. I say again, strike7sports.com/Saints Fanatics. You'll be taken to the Fanatics website, the Saints portion of it, where it has all the licensed Saints gear. Thank you. Alright, so we're back, and we're going to talk about the remarks made by Sean Payton at the Zurich Invitational, I believe it is, the golf tournament that they have in the Zurich Classic of New Orleans that they have at New Orleans in the city. Last year they didn't have it because of the pandemic was just kicking off, and then the procedures, the protocols weren't in place yet due to not knowing the full extent of this disease. So it was canceled, but they had it this year, and they talked to Sean Payton at the Leisure Classic, and he made some comments about the draft and what the team should be looking at, focusing on going forward into the draft. And we got this article pulled up, written by Luke Johnson of the Advocate, New Orleans Advocate. New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton took an afternoon away from the NFL draft prep last week to participate in a charity golf event at TPC, Louisiana, in advance of the Zurich Classic. After the event, Payton took questions from the local media about his team's future and the role the draft will play in shaping it. As expected, Payton did not say much to tip his team's hand, but he did provide a few tidbits that should provide a little more clarity as to how the team is approaching this year's draft. Here were some highlights. Months and once. Every year, the Saints conduct an accounting of their roster and break down their offseason talent acquisition wish list into a few distinct groups. What must the Saints address, and what would they like to address? While Payton did not just hand out pamphlets showing what the Saints were hoping to accomplish, he did make one interesting comment. When the topics of must was brought up in the question, Payton said, "There's one." Payton said, "Look, corners an area that we have to address between now and the start of the season, and I think we'll be able to find that. That should not come as a surprise to anyone who." That should not come as a surprise to anyone who has been following the Saints off-season. The team had no choice but to release starting corner Janoris Jenkins, who was set to come more than $13 million against salary cap in order to get where it needs to go. That leaves the Saints with three veteran corners on the roster and two players, Grant Haley and Keith Washington, with little to no NFL experience between them. Payton's comments does not necessarily mean the Saints will use their first round pick on a corner, because there is a decent chance that the best prospects are gone before New Orleans' turn arrives at number 28. But the coach made it clear the team is not done adding to that position group yet. Alright, so we got a little more here. To be fair, the process, there's just a little less information. Payton said we had a medical meeting the other night. It's a little bit like the workout information, that just a little bit less that you have to go by. You might have to follow up with phone calls to trainers and doctors. That's just what this year's presents. Alright, so with that being said, also, I was paraphrasing here, but Brees said, not Brees, but Sean Payton said that quarterback was not a must in this year's upcoming draft. So you can take that the any way. Take that with a grain of salt. You could be saying that it could be a pure smoke screen. You never know what type of moves they may try to make to move up in the draft to get a quarterback. It could be a complete smoke screen. he said that now, but you never know once the night of the draft hit and what offers can be presented to him. They can get him to move up in the second round. Who knows? But I mean, he's pretty much is confident in Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. Despite of what people may say about Taysom Hill as a quarterback, Sean Payton has faith in him that he can get it done. But, and he also has faith in Jameis Winston that he can get it done as a quarterback. But everybody's leading toward Jameis Winston getting the job. And I'm just looking forward to seeing when Taysom Hill is going to start doing some workouts with the wide receiver groups and the tight ends, similar to the way Jameis Winston has been doing. Where you've seen the workout videos with the players. I'd like to see Taysom Hill do some of that as well with the wide receiver group and the tight ends. But anyways, man, it's an interesting off season. One of the most important off seasons Saints have had in years, man. They're gonna need to hit on these picks. They got 8 picks in this year's draft. Caleb, the cornerback out of Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley has been linked as a potential pick that potential selection the Saints may make at this year's draft if he's available. And, the word is that he could fall because of his the back injury that he revealed. Even though he said he's going to be ready by training camp, that may cause teams to be concerned, and that may his stock may drop because of that. The other corner, Greg Newsome, is projected to be in the top 20 pick. Pat Surtain is a top 10 pick, along with J.C. Horn, Joe Horn's son. So, but I guess the cornerback is a position of need, and I mean, with that could be if they move up, that could be because of the need at cornerback, and who they may have their eyes on is they may have their eyes on J.C. Horn, or I don't know if Asante Samuel is going to fall that far. The Saints have to give up some major capital to move up in the top 10 if they want to have a chance at landing not Asante Samuel, but J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain II. So we'll have to see how it goes, though. If they could grab a corner in the first round and get a good linebacker in that second, the Jabril Cox or Dylan Moses, I don't know, Jeremiah Owusu going to be. I think Jeremiah Owusu might be taken by them, but that's a linebacker that I'll be interested in the Saints taking. Linebacker out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu. I even like Zayvon Collins out of Tulsa. That guy's pretty good, man, because he is, in my opinion, I wrote this in an article a while back, a few weeks ago, about the linebackers the Saints should target. I stated that Zayvon Collins is what the Saints were expecting out of Zach Bond last year, a guy that can play linebacker. He's good in coverage situations. He can get play on the defensive line and help out. But that never materialized with Zach Bond for whatever reason it was, maybe because of a short off season. Short off season because of the pandemic, or he wasn't grasping the playbook, the concepts of the defense. It just never materialized, but we gotta see how it goes. I'm gonna give him Zach Bond a chance before I even try to call him a bust, So we have to see how it goes, man. The battle between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. I just want to see what Hill is gonna do, man, to separate himself from Jameis Winston and impress Sean Payton enough to decide to name him as the starting quarterback over Jameis Winston. Do you think this is a slam dunk win for Jameis Winston due to the fact that he has a big arm, He has all those intangibles that Sean Payton likes in the quarterback, leadership, and all that. Taysom Hill has those intangibles as well. You know, he doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the arm as Jameis Winston. But he's mobile. He's athletic. He can move the chains as well. He keep plays going as well. He can control time of possession as a quarterback based on his skill set. So both of these guys have positives that can affect the Saints offense going into next season. But we'll have to see how it goes, man. You know. For the most part, you know, I won't be surprised if the Saints decide to get a quarterback in this year's draft, despite what Sean Payton says. You know, he didn't really say much to me. He's being real quiet really covert about what's going to happen during the draft. And I expect that, you know. He's been like this all year, every draft, you know. So I won't expect that. I won't be surprised if the Saints draft somebody in the first round that nobody ever heard of. I wouldn't be surprised because it happened last year. So you just got to, you know, prepare yourself mentally and prepare your expectations accordingly for this next Thursday when they select. But anyways, man, that's all I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me if you listen to this podcast on YouTube, give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel about Drew Brees' comments about about him not being healthy for almost 90% of the season. Do you think he should have sit out for the entire season and try to come back after once the playoffs started? Should have just let Jameis or Taysom start and let's let Drew Brees don't give Brees the opportunity to play again while he sits on the bench. Let me know how you feel, man. Listen to this on Spotify, iHeart. You know, just give me a 5-star rating. Leave me comments. Let me know how you feel about these the topics I talk about. Do you think the Saints will select a quarterback despite of what Sean Payton said about the quarterback position not being a must in this year's draft? That's all I have for y'all for right now. Also check out strike7sports.com/Saints for latest content on the New Orleans Saints organization. I should have some more information out, some more content out coming out this week. Also, I'll be making a YouTube video reacting to the recent selection, the Saints' first round selection in the draft, followed by a recap. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Have a blessed day. Peace. Who dat?